Travis Wayne Goodsell. This is higher level education at a PhD level, or a 5001 or a 501, whatever the college or university labels the curriculum course as. Whatever's highest. I recall 5000s were the highest at the University of Lethbridge. I didn't care. I'm not taking the prerequisites. I want to know that information. And every time in the book, prerequisites required. I want to take that class. I don't care about the prerequisites. And they never stopped me. Never stopped me. So yeah, being born and raised in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we get told about Joseph Smith as a prophet, seer, revelator, translator of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian. Reason why I say Paleo-Hebrew and not just Hebrew is because I want my audience to know there's a difference between Paleo-Hebrew and Hebrew, and Biblical Hebrew, and Aramaic, and. So in these higher level education courses, there is specific scientific level language, or speak, exclusive to the field-specific language, such that other people not in the field have no idea what we're talking about. That serves multi-purposes. The main one is to let the university that hired us believe that we are experts in the field and we're professional about it. 2, even though our papers are done with the field-specific language, such that only others in the field who read our papers understand it, we still understand that it's our exclusive club that nobody else is allowed to play in. And thus they can snub their noses down at other people. And so when some smart aleck kid knows their secret codes, but has not been initiated in their rituals, they tend to frown and try to keep them down and suppressed from exposing them as the frauds that they are in reality. And so Paleo-Hebrew, even though for the regular person they have no clue. And I'm hoping that my audience knows enough of the technologies that are out there to Google search paleo if you don't know paleo. Because I could use original alphabet, I could use Phoenician, I could use Old Hebrew, but that may also confuse people in regards to Hebrew. There's a tendency in our society among those who are not knowledgeable in a field to just lump everything together as the same. Freemasonry, for example. Yeah, you think it's all the same, don't you? So when it comes up in church history subjects, that's what the regular person who's not in the field will assume. Joseph Smith was a Freemason. Oh yeah, I heard it's of the devil. I heard it's 33 degrees. of the Illuminati. And you miss the second vision. You don't see it because of your lack of knowledge in the field. So that's what I'm referring to with Paleo-Hebrew. It is the origin of the alphabet. It is also called Phoenician, but it was used by those living in Israel on the Mount of Salem, who were Egyptians. To simplify it and yet not complicate it for you by simplifying it too much. On the 4th of November 2016, I've repeated this video topic multiple times. And like I said, the subject matter is complicated. If you believe that the church is Christian, you ain't ever going to understand any of this. You're going to say it's of the devil. As those have. Because you lump it all together because you're not in the field. Joseph Smith is the man like Moses, the seer, the prophet, the revelator, the translator of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian. That is not titles, gifts, powers thereof. It is not of the devil, it's science. And so, for revelator, this is where the Urim and Thummim comes in. So in Abraham, chapter 3, verse 1. And I, Abraham, had the Urim and Thummim, which the Lord my God had given me in that's funny, Urim Thummim, of the Chaldees. It's Kam Ambo Temple, by the way. Right, field specific. Never mind. Joseph Smith is correct. Facsimile number 1, figure number 10. Abraham in Egypt. Ur of Chaldees is not Ur of Babylon. It's in Egypt. It's Kamambo. Okay? So he gets the Urim and Thummim in Egypt, Ur of Chaldees. Do not assume it's Ur of Babylon. It did not exist if you're going to call this literal history. And so with the Urim and Thummim, I saw the stars. The Urim and Thummim is used for astronomy. Okay? So, Joseph Smith revision of the Bible, so as not to be confused by throwing out translation, unless you understand translation to be in the context of a revelator who uses the Urim and Thummim to see the stars in the heaven. Now, what do we use the stars in the heavens for on earth? Calendar dates and clock times. So, thanks to Lorena, I know that today is Sunday, the 23rd of November, 2025, in our calendar, based on our usage of the stars and celestial bodies in the heaven. And it's now 10:13 in the morning, according to the clock. Again, using the stars and the celestial bodies to designate time on this earth. That is a revelator. So the book of Revelation is about calendar dates and clock times. But the Christians confused you by adding a completely separate book of letters to the 7 churches at the beginning of the book of Revelation. Because they're claiming it's by John, and the Revelation of John, or Apocalypse of John, is also by John, and so they just put it together. Just like they did with Matthew. There's the stories of a God, Gospel, and then there's the Apocalypse of Matthew 24 and 25. And then we can return to the stories. Apocalypse, or Revelation, has calendar dates and clock times. So Joseph Smith tells us in section 45, verse 56, that the parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25 has a calendar date and clock time given to it. We'll just say that it's Joseph Smith Jr. to keep it simple for you. Because if you just realized, wait, we're not Christian? That means the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a fraud. Yeah, you're still at a beginner level. You are nowhere near ready for the truth about Joseph Smith Sr. You're not ready yet. You got to work line upon line, precept upon precept. Like I said, field specific. So chapter 12. I immediately came to this after the 4th of November 2016, when Fox 13 News Utah announced that there would be a total solar eclipse over the whole United States of America on the 21st of August 2017. My field-specific expertise and education knew exactly what it meant. The latter days are finally here. So I came here because this is obvious. There's a great sign in the heavens. They say wonder. Joseph Smith translation turns it to sign. Doesn't matter, same thing. A sign in the heavens is a constellation on the zodiac with a celestial body or several in it. That is a sign. It's called a conjunction. In astronomy, field specific. And so I knew the woman is Virgo, because it's not a real woman. immaculately being conceiving. Oh, that's where the Catholics got it from? Yeah. That's why they allowed this book to be put in their Bible. Because some of this other stuff, oh my God, I don't find this in the First Creed of Christianity. It's because it's the calendar date and clock times. So yeah, it's a Christian who put in no man knows the day or the hour in Matthew. So the sun is in Virgo. This happens in our time, the middle of September to the middle of October. When this was written, around 200 CE, using the scientific terminology, you might recognize AD. You shouldn't use AD. Should do away with BC and AD. Use BCE for before Common Era, and then CE for Common Era. Which, still, why did you choose that? Because now we have a 0 year in certain programs. So like 600 years before, or since Lehi left Jerusalem, yeah, that screws up timelines with a 0 year there that has to be skipped. During their time, it was the middle of August to the middle of September. That's when he wrote it and said, Virgo with the sun. He knew his day that it was the middle of August to the middle of September according to our current calendar. He had a calendar too that he used during his time. And so to bypass that, he used the heavens as the time and the date. The moon under her feet, 29.4 days. So it's possible that the moon could be under Virgo's feet twice, but it would have to be right at the very beginning to be right at the very end, to just barely make it. But most of the time it's just once, 29.4 days. Now Christians stop there because that in and of itself happens all the time, every single year. Thus no man knows the day or the hour. There's more. Keep reading. We can judge. Keep reading. Upon her head a crown of 12 stars. They'll say, well, yeah, Leo is designated with 12 stars. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will let Mormons believe, yeah, 12 apostles, head of the church, the crown. That's why I put Oaks with a crown on his head. Hello, apostolic interregnum? Field-specific knowledge. Wrong. There are only 9 stars that designate the constellation of Leo. The brightest of the stars designate the constellation, as seen from Earth. There are gabillions out there in that location. They use what is the brightest as seen from Earth to designate the constellation. And many of them, you're like, how? How is that a lion? How is that a scales of judgment? How is that Virgo? How is that Pisces? I'm confused. But that's the ancients for you. 9, which means that this author, this Jew, who's using a Urim and Thummim and prophecy of the future, is saying that there are 12 roaming stars called planets. There are 5 visible planets as seen from Earth. So 3 of them will be in Leo. That in and of itself is a precise date. It's closer. It's less frequent, far less frequent. Because you can get 1 or 2 on a regular basis, but 3, that's more rare. But we're not done yet. She's pregnant. Yeah, well, she's not literally pregnant. It's a planet. Because it's not the sun, it's not the moon, it's not 3 of the 5 visible planets. It's a 4th planet that is being represented as a baby in her womb. How long are women pregnant for? 9 years. The first one sometimes can go up to 10. Or 11 or 12 or 13. Travailing in birth. So which planet retrogrades in every constellation for about a pregnancy period of time before it then moves on to the next? Field specific. Jupiter. So we know 1 of the 5 visible planets. So that cuts down the number that we need to figure out for the 3 in Leo. Jupiter is in Virgo. And that's how the one guy from 2016, just months before me, found it. And all Christians used him because he was first. As my logic instructor told us, you don't have to be the best, you just have to be the first. He was first. I'm the best. And nobody cares. Because I wasn't first. All right? So that in and of itself, he knew it was the 23rd of September, 2017. Just like I did. Independently of him, I went to this knowing the latter days had begun with the solar eclipse over the United States of America next year. So I pulled out my Urim and Thummim in my rock and a hat. And looked forward in time from the 21st of August, 2017. And there it is, 23rd September 2017. So my initial pictures were just of verses 1 and 2. But it was very clear Jupiter had been born. So I knew the conception was November 14th or 16th. It was when the supermoon was for the full moon in November that year. That's when the conception was. And then you go a pregnancy period, and it's a little bit more because it's the first child. So in November, it would be December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, 10 months. So, yep, first pregnancy. I was a week early. Week late. Sorry. Parents was the 10th of June. So 17th of March. 1 week late. 1 week. Okay, so I knew the conception, but the conception isn't this sign. I knew that the sign was the 23rd of September 2017. I knew it was the birth. I know that the birth is in verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child to rule all nations with the Book of Mormon, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. But that's 2 signs ahead. So yes, after knowing this sign and doing the videos and research on it and all that stuff, I went forward. What's next? There appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. Went forward in my rockin' a hat. Using your level of knowledge to mock and insult Mormons. Who believe it's all literal history. And so sure enough, a collection of celestial bodies at the tail, to make it 10, with a corona borealis on the head of serpents, being split by Ophiuchus. 17th December 2017. The 5th dark day of Hanukkah. And the day when Nelson, while Monson was on his deathbed, now allows 11-year-old girls to go to the temple with that auto pen. Okay? And so, I didn't have time to go ahead in the future to look for, well, I couldn't find it in time until it happened. The next one, his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. Okay? I couldn't figure it out with serpents. Okay. I couldn't find it until on the 2nd of January 2018. Just a day or two after 2 weeks. So it was the 17th, so 24th, 31st, and then 2 days. Yeah, 2 weeks, 2 days. Huh. Interesting. But 16, so it's not really. Monson dies. So I checked the signs in the heavens for Monson, as I did in December 2016, when Larry Miller died. I learned about Larry Miller. He was into horses, and sure enough, there was a constellation in Pegasus on the back of the white horse in Pisces. So, oh, cool, fun. Published a book on it. Nobody cared. I don't think I did a YouTube video on it. Maybe. Because I was trying to do videos to promote the books at the same time, or promote the movie with the book, or who cares? It was a failed business. So yes, I was doing other stuff. I now know the birth of Jesus, 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem. Yep, everybody's wrong. Everybody was wrong. And so even though I didn't know it at the time, it was then my knowledge of that date helped me figure out some other dates that were still yet to come. So, getting the correct information is crucial. So yes, there's the sign in the heavens. Draco the dragon with the quadranted meteor showers at the tail. The third largest meteor showers of the year. Every year, the first week of January. And it was peaked when Monson died at 10:01 p.m. Again, having the accurate information helps for the future. Right, Nelson? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Oh, Oaks, so humiliated that he covered it up. Shortly after 10 p.m., they did not want you to know I was right. My rock and a hat is very powerful. And so, now that I found that, I went to the next. The child is born. It was already born. I don't understand. Caught up to God and to his throne. And so I kept following, and Jupiter eventually would get to Ophiuchus. So I'm doing the research on what is Ophiuchus in ancient mythology. Oh, God and his throne. Okay. But God is Saturn. This is when he's born, not when he's in Ophiuchus. And then I looked down in the footnotes and saw Joseph Smith translation, Revelation 12, 1-17, appendix. Note the changed sequence of verses in the Joseph Smith translation. Oh my God. Say, as an expert in the field that nobody knows, I could have kept it a secret. Nobody would ever know. Just change the pictures, not mention anything about it. nobody would ever know. Done all the time in all the fields. Once in a while, they get away with it. Yep, it's moved to verse 3 to be part of the first original sign. It's his birth, not his conception. As I knew it was, but it was confusing. And now it now makes sense. So, yep. Saturn in Ophiuchus. There it is. The father of Jupiter. So now we know the 2 planets of the 5, and therefore we now know the 3 that are in Leo: Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Ta-da! Even though I already knew that information, because verses 1 and 2 was sufficient for me to find it, using the solar eclipse over the United States of America as my baseline. And so, going back to November 2016, I found the conception date. I knew we're in the latter days. And now the whole scriptures is being opened up to me about the calendar date and clock time. I'm now able to pull out the calendar and go, the coming of the Jewish Christ. The death of Monson. The curse of Joseph Smith. Yep, I'd already known about the 3 apostles dying under the blood moon tetrad. And I was first on that one. Well, no, I wasn't first. The publisher was first. He became rich from his publication about the Jewish blood moons, the tetrad, 2014-2015. But again, I was the best. Nobody cares about the best. But yes, Perry Packer Scott. I already ran that test way back in 2007 when Faust died, and then shortly thereafter when Hinckley died. I went, oh, that's fun. But I didn't know the bigger picture yet until all of it was fitting into place with the latter days. And so I do the video going back in time, and oh yeah, wow, it's like a flip of each other. Cool. And then thinking, well, Hinckley and Monson died under signs in the heavens, with the sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, and stars falling from heaven. How many other presidents of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are there that would match this same pattern? All of them. All of them. And so again, getting the correct information helps to branch out. Just like producing fruit from a seed, it contains more seed to branch out from. You must be correct with the original seed in order to be able to branch out correctly. This is science. And so the same with the tetrad. I was able to correct them and give the full account, and then plug in Perry Packer Scott. And that then helped when earlier this year with the blood moon and the Passover moon in Virgo, and doing the 10 virgins video, and then went, wait a minute, 10 virgins, 10 Virgos, latter days. I know the full latter day time period of 11 years plus the 7 years, not plus the 7, and the 7-year time period, and then the 2020 Exodus. So let's check. So went way back to 2014. Oh, right, the tetrad. So were there full moons without an eclipse in Virgo in those same years? Sure enough, Jewish. Yeah, so I even more fully added to that blood moon tetrad at the beginning of the latter days, the pre-latter days, we can call it. Letting Mormons know it's time. Monson came out and said no. Chad Daybell then emerged as a rebel, getting the death penalty for his disbelief. And Monson got slammed for telling Mormons no. Let me read to you from Wilford Woodruff about this. Official Declaration number 1, verse 11. Remember, all from Brigham Young fit the pattern for the curse of Joseph Smith. Especially Monson. In Revelation chapter 12. The Lord will never permit me or any other man who stands as president of this church to lead you astray. It is not in the program. It is not the mind of God. If I were to attempt that, the Lord would remove me out of my place. Bingo! Bye-bye! And so he will every other man who attempts this to lead Mormons astray. Ta-da! Church ain't true. From his own mouth. As he lied, claiming he's now the president of the church. The United States shut you all down as a criminal operation for tithing. You're nowhere near true. So, additional information in Revelation chapter 12 in the Joseph Smith revision. I say that, and as I've tried to say repeatedly, don't pay attention to what's plagiarized. Ignore the plagiarized. Focus on what is new and different. That's what you need to pay attention to. So yeah, the difference is sign rather than wonder. Fine. No big deal. But then he adds, in the likeness of things on the earth. Well, sign in the heavens is revelation for revelator. Things on the earth. That's the prophecy. Seer for vision is anthropomorphizing the signs in the heavens. The planets, the sun and the moon, the constellations. And they tell scriptures based upon this. The scriptures were written as prophecy and revelation by seers, using Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian, talking about the man like Moses of the latter days, the Jewish Christ. Prophecy and revelation is what Joseph Smith wants you to know and understand here. Future predictions, calendar dates, and clock times. And he knows the calendar date and clock time because he moved verse 5 to verse 3. Joseph Smith's rocking a hat right on target. Thanks, Dad. I'll take the credit. Verse 7. This is where the anthropomorphizing of the heavens, being written in scripture form, is now interpreted by Joseph Smith for us. The woman, Virgo, is Joseph Smith's church. It's him doing it. It's his church. Not the Jews, not the Christians, not Islam. Joseph Smith's church. Joseph Smith is teaching Mormons about the future latter days, giving you the calendar date and clock times, the predictions of the future, and the interpretation of the anthropomorphizing of the signs in the heavens written as scripture by the Jews. Okay? So from Joseph Smith's church will be born, not immaculately, not by a dove, the millennial kingdom with the Christ of Mormons. Thus, he's a Mormon. Like I said, if you're struggling to understand and believe that we're not Christian, which means we're not worshiping Jesus of Christianity of the First Creed, we're Jewish with the Jewish Christ, the man like Moses, which means the Exodus story of Moses is a similitude prophecy with calendar dates and clock times of the latter days of the coming of the Mormon. Because Joseph Smith says the woman is his church, and that the Christ of Mormons is a Mormon. That's why Mormons have the Last Supper sacrament. Last Supper? Or shall I put Latter-day Supper? Yeah, that Jesus story also got screwed up by Christians. By a Jew, several Jews. Many of the Jews were rejected by Christians in the First Creed of Christianity and were not put into their collection of Jewish works, turned literal histories, and thus in chronological order, as literal histories, when they're prophecies and revelations of the future. That's why there's a lot of events that did occur in history, and characters, and time frames that are legitimate history, but they're not scientifically confirmed as accurate. Because they're not. They're the future, using the signs in the heavens anthropomorphized to write scripture stories, God tales, about the events in the future, about a Mormon to save Mormons from the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, holding them in bondage to the Great Spirit Jesus, yoking them to him. You never did check the scriptures, did you? Okay? So, when we come back from the station identification break, we'll go over Monson and his death and the transfer of authority to Nelson using this pattern. Section 103, verses 15 to 18. I've told you about this many a time. That confirms a future Mormon is the Mormon Christ to save Mormons from the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. First and second visions are also telling you the same thing. Second Nephi, chapter 3, telling you the same thing. Joseph Smith is the forerunner Christ to prepare Mormons for the future Christ who is a Mormon. It's all the same thing by Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. I told you it was complicated. If you're not ready to accept that we're not Christian, this is all of the devil. Just like the Methodist preacher to Joseph Smith. Okay? So we shall return after we change over the laundry. Okay. So section 103, verses 15 through 18, is alluding to some other characters in the latter days, not just Joseph Smith's church and the Mormon who is the Christ of Mormons. As the man like Moses, Moses was not the head of the church. Pharaoh was the head of the church. He was holding the house of Israel in bondage. And Moses said, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh said no until some latter-day events occurred. And then the great and abominable church of Pharaoh fell. And he transferred authority to Moses. And Moses, in an exodus, led the house of Israel to go build Zion. That's how you interpret the prophecies. And so Pharaoh is the false prophet of the great and abominable church that is holding Mormons in bondage. Yeah. First Nephi, chapter 10, verse 14. There are saved two churches only. Or is it 14:10? It's 14:10. Yeah, 14:10. Behold, there are saved two churches only. The one is the church of the Lamb of God. Revelation 19, by the way, for the calendar date and clock time of the constellation conjunction anthropomorphized for interpretation in Scripture. That's the Mormon of Joseph Smith's church. The other is the church of the devil. Mormons belonging not to the church of the Mormon belongeth to the church of the devil. What is the symbol of the devil? The inverted pentagram of Lucifer on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. The keystone symbolizes the doctrine doctrines taught within. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints versus the Mormon to come to Utah, phonetically the same as Judah, in the latter days on the 23rd of September 2017, to rescue Mormons who will hearken to him from the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So Monson, being on his deathbed, died. Revelation chapter 12, verse 3, verse 4 in the Joseph Smith revision. So, I also went back to the signs in the heavens and looked for the scales of judgment. Libra. And on the 2nd of January at 10:01 p.m., was both Jupiter and Mars. Mars is the husband of Venus who gave birth to Lucifer. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning star Venus, whose husband or baby daddy was Mars. There's Mars at the top of the scales of judgment. Transfer of authority from the deceased Monson automatically, because of Brigham Young's changes, to the president of the Quorum of the 12, which, thanks to the tetrad in 2014-2015, put Nelson into pole position. Russell Marion, baby name meaning. If you've been following me all these years and annoyed that I kept talking about baby name meaning for Russell Marion and had no clue what I was talking about with my field-specific knowledge, Russell, red, Marion, star of the sea, red star of the sea, Mars. Nelson took over the church when Monson died. Mars is at the top of the scales of judgment, contending and saying no to Jupiter, the man like Moses who is the Mormon, to not let Mormons go, to not free Mormons from bondage. Two churches, Mormons. You chose wrong. You didn't choose the Holy Grail. Isn't Freemasonry all the same? No. No, it's not. So all these years, I've been doing my videos with this knowledge in mind. And letting you know, either directly or indirectly in videos, and with pictures, showing you signs in the heavens at certain occasions. I can miss you, Nelson. We had so much fun. So much fun. So much fun. So, yes, I followed Mars that whole latter days to his dying day. my God, I had a cookie dream. Nelson, no, don't touch the Syracuse altar. No, don't do it. Oh, bye-bye. Lord will not permit any curse of Joseph Smith struck again. Your turn, Oaks. And guess what? 17 days. He dared. He dared. He knows my information, right? They're telling you, right? They're not leaving stuff out that they don't think is important, which actually is, right? From the Strengthening Church Members Committee? Kind of important. That's why you didn't tell us the exact time of Nelson's death. Shortly after 10. But 17 days later, 17. And they're trying to rewrite it as to what happened. It was Oaks who said that Tuesday morning when they came in from the extra long weekend. I think I need to become the president of the church. We got to put Travis in his place. Tell him he's wrong. And oops! Sign in the heavens. Ta-da! Travis turned out to be right again. And he warned you, he was drooling for you, and so you got scared. You had an announcement that was brief. And then I mocked you for not having the press conference. So you had a press conference with only the church news press lady. And I still mocked you. Because it's the church of the devil, Mormons. I ran the test. Joseph Smith is true. The Book of Mormon is true. Because they're true, I'm just like Elijah. Where's Jesus? Where is he? My turn. It's a wonderful latter days. These are the episodes of the days of our lives. There's some gems. If only there were people who knew this field-specific information. Hundreds of thousands have come and gone because they don't understand and thus they don't believe, because it's of the devil. So yeah, all of the prophecies, all of the calendar dates and clock times have all happened except for the final four. The fall, the transfer of authority, the Exodus, the building of Zion. And the enemy that's been plotting this for 200 years keeps running test runs. And that's why Oaks is doing what he's doing also. Well, if it's going to be more years, We'll go back to treating the church as status quo. So yes, Mars was at the top of the scales of Libra when Oaks became the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords of the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I knew this. So then TODD CHRISTOFFERSON replaced Oaks, but Irene as the second counselor. So that's now the test that I was looking for. Did TODD replace Oaks as Venus, or did he replace Irene as Mercury, as Irene then replaced Venus, which was Oaks, as the first counselor? That was the test I was wanting to check for and figure out, hoping the whole time that the church would fall and I wouldn't have to do it. No such luck. Test run! Another test run! Test run alert! Test run alert! So, yesterday, late at night, I find out about the news on Friday that spread all over the internet among the apostates. All the apostates knew of the fall of Wade Christofferson. And so again, to try to catch on the wave, the tsunami of what I knew was going to break out on Monday for Mormons, getting the videos all set up for Monday. Sure enough, I'd already known in advance. On Friday, when I do my daily check for the Urim and Thummim, rockin' hat, for the signs in the heaven that day, and I do a snapshot for each and every single day, I noticed that Mercury and Venus were going to be in conjunction tomorrow. So I took that extra snapshot and kept it on my system to remind me to make sure I post it for tomorrow. I get to do it today for this video. You see in the patterns already that there are signs in the heavens designated as anthropomorphic deities or other objects, animals, etc. And that the ancient Jewish prophets wrote that as scripture. And Joseph Smith says they are to be interpreted under Joseph Smith's church. And so the woman is Joseph Smith's church. But there are wise virgins and there are foolish virgins. It's weird. Heat is supposed to expand, but the ring expands and my finger shrinks. Unless my finger expands, but the ring expands worse, or they both shrink, but this shrinks more. So I have to have it this way so it doesn't fall off. Weird. And so, yes, as you've already heard, Nelson was Mars, Oakes was Venus, Irene was Mercury. But when Nelson died, Oakes is now Mars. That was now confirmed. I wondered what it would be if Nelson would still, or Oakes would still be Venus. That it would be a transfer from Mars to Venus. Nope. Nelson, or Oakes, took over as Mars now. Oakes is now Mars. In Ophiuchus. Enjoying the throne of God for the moment. The sun, Emmanuel, Amen, the sun god of noonday of the Egyptians, has gone through his judgment. He passes automatically. I've already run this kind of test. The sun and the moon accompanying somebody means they passed. Not accompanied, oops. Mars, oops. And so, yes, Mercury retrograded. It was down there at the judgment with Mars, but not as Irene, as the messenger of the gods. That's the difference. You need to know the full theology of the different anthropomorphized deities and constellations of the ancients and how they understood them, because it's a Jewish author in the Roman period time during the Qumran community days. They're the ones writing this. So they're using the Babylonian understanding, the Greek understanding, and the Roman understanding. You need to know all three of those, not just the Egyptians. And so Mercury, as Irene, went back up to be judged. Why would he do that? Anybody know about my dreams of transferring authority? 9/11, 2024. Again, higher level learning, in case you haven't been following, and you'd have to go on, I'd have to explain it. But I've been checking out Irene too. And sometimes Mercury is just a message about the church from one of the two leaders. And yes, for those of you who can handle the higher level of field-specific knowledge, this is also for government of the United States of America. Trump is Mercury. And so synonymously, the two dualisms of prophecy are occurring with the calendar dates and clock times. This is how brilliant the Jews were, because they had a theocracy back then. We don't. Brilliant. So, tomorrow would also have to do with Trump. Every day is about Trump. And Trump is always the messenger. He gives his own messages. The Jews were brilliant. And so I wondered when Biden took over, is Biden now Mercury? Nope. 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 Do you notice how it's November during election time when there's activity in the scales of judgment? Judgment for elections. Huh. The Jews were brilliant. So yes, when Trump took over and won, sure enough, sure enough. But it was after I published my book, not knowing yet of the 21st of August 2017. Otherwise, I wouldn't have written the book as I did. I would have had to revise it. Okay? So, Mercury tomorrow is with Venus. And this is a little tricky because the Greeks and the Romans, talking about their deities, have contradictory or alternative stories. So that Mercury is the brother of Venus, but in other stories, he's the husband of Venus, giving birth to a specific son. And other times, they're not related. Thus, the brilliance of the Jews in writing their scripture prophecies, using the calendar dates and clock times of astronomy. And so sure enough, paying attention all these latter days, sometimes Venus was Nelson's wife, under certain conditions being met. Other times it was the church, when Nelson is up to something for the church. Okay? So I've had to pay attention to that. So Nelson is now out of the picture. Mars is Oaks. He's enjoying life on the throne right now. King for a day. And so, with the news about Wade Christofferson, the brother of Venus, TODD Christofferson. There's my answer. TODD took over Oakes's position as Venus. Irene did not take over as Venus. See how that works? So, Irene is still Mercury, but not for tomorrow per se. Mercury, in this case, now that it's happened and hit the fan, is the brother of Venus, TODD, which is Wade. And there's going to be a message tomorrow about Wade, the brother of TODD. Yes! And sure enough, that's what we're waiting for. Is the official filing of charges. And they purposely waited for the weekend, having no clue of any of this. They did it under their agency, and the Jews knew, and Joseph Smith knew. Brilliant! And yep, the judgment bar is where they're at. And so the message about Wade is about judgment. filing of charges. Brilliant! Brilliant! Whew. So his actual judgment and such, that's in the coming days. We're likely to see him plead guilty because of how soon Judgment Day is for him. As he turned himself in. He wasn't arrested and hauled off to prison or jail. He turned himself in. And so, yes, he's likely to plead guilty, hoping for lesser charges. But still, yeah, just brilliant. Words escape me on this. The superior intelligence of the Jews is just intense. And Joseph Smith figured it out. Just incredible. And it's higher level learning. I'm all alone. That's why I wanted my daughter, so I could teach her all this and she would know. She was taken from me. So yeah, Clayton too, but he was the second. He wasn't the first. So yes, the Mormon also is all over the skies. From his conception to his birth, to his baptism, priesthood, patriarchal blessing, mission, endowment. With his new name, Nephi. I've been able to follow him the whole time too, knowing of the calendar dates and clock times of his arrival and when he would be 50 years old in 2020 and all that stuff. This is my field. And I've been trying to share it with you guys so that you could also know, since I don't have a little girl to teach it to. It just blows my mind. So yeah, that's why yesterday or the day before, at the end of the 2-hour video, I tell you guys, I checked 2026. There's nothing. It's over. The enemy failed. They failed to cause Armageddon. And so yes, we're still looking for a quick attack. A quick surprise attack to trigger the end of the world. So heads up for that. Because it's over. Everything has happened except for the final four. Because they failed. The fall is because they failed. They're never going to transfer the church to me. They won't do it. They have to maintain the illusion of authority over you. They're the great and abominable church, remember? So I have no idea how it's going to be transferred to me to save you guys who are believers so we can go build Zion. What the hell? Person pissing outside my window again. Okay, well, we're pretty much done. That's it. All that hour and a half long introduction to just tell you that Mercury is Wade and Venus is TODD. Just get to the point. So yes, Venus, inverted pentagram, Venus, part of the prostitution in the Greek temples. For Lucifer's plan of happiness, the abomination of desolation for the Jews, not the Christians. So yeah, that's why the lunar eclipse over Jerusalem next year on Purim for the 3rd of March. I'm concerned about that. Very concerned about that. But that should be separate from the fall of the Jews in Utah. Phonetically the same. Phonetically the same. Just brilliant, those Jews. Alrighty.